Hello church, it's Susie Gamez, and today is day 5 of our 21 days of fasting and prayer. And so I'm going to come with our devotional from John 5. John 5 verses 2 through 9 is where I'll be reading from. And it says this: By the sheep gate in Jerusalem, there is a pool called Bethesda in Aramaic, which has 5 colonnades. Within these lay a large number of the disabled, blind, lame, and paralyzed. One man was there who had been disabled for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there, and he realized that he had already been there for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the disabled man answered, "I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, but while I'm coming, someone goes down ahead of me." "Get up," Jesus told him. "Pick up your mat and walk." Instantly, the man got well, picked up his mat, and started to walk. So in this passage, like any good old encounter with Jesus, there's so much that we can learn about God, about people, about ourselves, and how to live our lives. For today's devotional, in step with this 21 days of prayer and fasting, I wonder if we can ponder just one question. Do you want to get well? Better yet, maybe you can personalize it and you can ask yourself, do I want to get well? You know, many of us expect breakthrough and revelation, maybe discernment during the times of prayer and fasting. And it's not wrong to expect or desire those things. Many times God does do the miraculous. We see healings, we see breakthroughs happen. And often we're able to hear God in ways that maybe we couldn't have without this intentional prayer and fasting. But before we expect the miraculous, before we expect the sensational, I wonder if we should just start at the basics. I wonder if we should just start by allowing God to ask us this question: do you want to be made well? To those of us who know that there is something in us that is broken, something in us that needs healing, for those of us that just want to be made better by Jesus, those of us who want to get well, the answer is obvious. Of course, absolutely. Yes, Jesus, I want to get well. But that's not the answer that the man who was laying by the pool that day gave to Jesus. This man had been an invalid for 38 years. For 38 years, he suffered, he struggled, he endured. Life had been hard and he wanted healing. Why else would he be laying at the pool, right? But at the risk of sounding unsympathetic here, I'm going to suggest that maybe this man had grown apathetic. Perhaps his hope had grown a little bit thin. I think that maybe he had grown weary of waiting. Maybe his faith had taken a little bit of a beating. You know, he'd been there, he'd been in that position for so long. So who could blame him for not expecting the miraculous to happen that very moment? When Jesus asked him, "Do you want to get well?" it's highly unlikely that this man expected his healing to come that day. In fact, I wonder if he was a little bit suspicious when Jesus asked him that question. Like, I wonder if he heard Jesus ask him that question and instantly he went into shame mode, because he'd been living in shame for so long. Why are you in this condition? Well, see, the thing is that, you know, every time that I try to get into this pool that can offer me healing, somebody comes on ahead of me and I don't have anyone to help me. And he starts giving Jesus these excuses. But then Jesus says to him, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." And the crazy thing is, he actually gets up and he does it. The scriptures say at once the man was cured. So he picked up his mat and he walked. So what does this tell us about Jesus? It tells us that Jesus had the power to heal. He cared enough to heal. And he wanted to empower this man to participate in the healing. I love this part. Jesus wanted this man to be in partnership with him to do the miraculous. See, Jesus could have stood him up and picked him up in front of everybody. He could have put him on his feet and he could have said, "Walk." And there could have been this huge display of power in front of all of these people. But instead, low key, because we know that Jesus wasn't doing this for fame or notoriety, he snuck out into the crowd after this. Jesus, in partnership with this man's own will and might, told him, get up, pick up your mat and walk. He was saying, get up, or maybe go and activate your faith. As an old pastor of mine used to love to say, he's saying, put your faith in action. Get up from that place that you feel stuck in. Just do it. Pick up your mat and walk. This also infers that Jesus was telling this man to leave the place that he had made his bed in for so long and to not go back. He's saying, don't go back to the places that you have felt stuck in for so long. Don't go back to those places that had you paralyzed for all of those years. Like they like to say in Celebrate Recovery, don't go back to those old hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Go from this place. I came to bring you healing. I have made you well. So go and walk in your freedom. Go and walk in life abundant. Don't go back to those things that didn't give you the healing that you needed. So I think today we need to just ponder that question. Do you want to get well? Do I want to get well? And how can I participate with God in my healing today? I pray that God would do the miraculous in you. But I pray that you would open up your heart and you would allow God to search you and try you and to help you get well. Be blessed, church.